and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. It is time to do some more of this painting on this last day. I have done some throughout the week. I did this single section from the day when it was too hot for me to do a double. So yeah, I finished that single section, and then I actually finished the peacock. So when I kitted this up, my decision wheel also chose a special diamond painting, which I kitted up. So I did that one as well, because it's sort of been floating around. So I'll be de-kitting that soon. And then I've had 2 more evenings where I was able to do it. So when did I last film? So I think the last time I filmed it was on the weekend. I'm actually filming this on a Friday night. I'm sort of full of energy and we have lots of different things we want to get done over the weekend. So I thought, you know what? Let's go and have a chat with my buddies and do today or Sunday's whip and waffle and have a chat to you all, so that we're doing lots of different house bits tomorrow. So yeah, it means I won't be watching the time, or, you know, if I get exhausted and just decide I need to sit on my bum, I can. So yeah, so Monday night I did a section and my peacock, and then I think it was Tuesday night and Thursday night I did the other 2. I did sections just in 2s. Last night when I did my 2 section, I didn't start that early, but I think because there was quite a few blocks that were like solid blocks, there was a big circle of ABs and a big chunk of 939, and because of that I actually had some time left over, so I actually got a couple of rows of my daughter's quilt done, a couple more rows of all my squares sewn together. So officially just over half of it has been sewn into rows. So hopefully, depending on how tired I am, I'll get some more of that done this weekend. My putty has got to the sweet spot. I do find when my putty is fresh, I use putty in my multi-placer because they just smell gorgeous, and I much prefer glue dots in my single placer. So, but I do find when I first have putty in my multi-placer, it can stick to these ABs a bit too much. Now, whether it's just these ones or whether it's all ABs in general, I'm not sure. But I've definitely noticed it with these ABs. So I'm happy that it's now got to that sweeter spot, because there is a lot of white AB on this painting. So to be able to multi-place the ABs as well as the rest is so much nicer. But yeah, I hope everybody has had a good weekend, because of course you guys will be seeing this on Sunday. But yeah, I'm hoping to have a very productive weekend ourselves. So we'll see how much hobby time I actually get, depending on the other stuff that we're doing. But yeah, I will of course let you guys know in Thursday's whip and waffle. Okay. Nudge that with the glue dot, because I knew the glue dot would pick that up better. Yeah, So we're still on comments, questions, etc. from June Waffle. I'm really hoping that a couple more weeks of Whip and Waffles and we'll at least get to comments from July. It partly feels like the comments are so out of date a little bit, but they're also not. Do you know what I mean? And people have taken the time to leave them and stuff. But yeah, I'm already doing 2-hour Whip and Waffles, so we will get caught up eventually. We'll keep doing 2-hour ones or a couple of hour ones, 2 sections. Because I do also, as much as I am loving this painting and I'm loving doing it, because I haven't been working on it in an evening quite as much as I hoped, it's not moving that fast. So I would love to be able to get a bit more progress on this one. Why on earth did I open it that side? This is the one I've actually got a sticker on to tell me which side is the wax tip side, and I still picked it up from the wrong one. Oh well. Okay, so comments. Elisa says she has been home since 2:30 today. She's had a knee operation and she is watching in bed. Well, I hope you are all better now, because that was a bit ago. That was at the end of June. Brianne, she said she hopes that her surgery went well, so she's replied to a comment. She said laying and listening to Rebecca, she said, is how she recovered from her leg surgery last year. She said she's got such a soothing voice. Oh, bless you. Don't know if hubby would say the same thing. Depend what we're discussing. But yeah, I hope everything went super well and that you are feeling loads better and as fit as a fiddle, and yeah, getting on with it. Mysterious Days says she'd say it is about 50-50 if you're taught by a family member or friend, she says, or if you go to driving school. She said primarily, she said they started with her mum teaching her, and she was doing well. She says the issue is one of her friend's mum yelled at her because it looked like she was about to hit her son's car, and that actually caused her a major mental block that took her years to get over. She says she doesn't think that she's finally fully over it, but she is ready to start again. She says she hasn't done driving school yet. They're probably waiting until the worst of the summer is over, so that it's not unbearable, she said, due to her asthma. Well, tell that woman to do one. Is the answer to that one. She was probably just having a bad day, and yes, not on her best form by the sounds of it. But yeah, hope everything does go well when you start back up again, and everything goes as you've expected. Right, I am deciding to do all the ABs in this section. While my putty is playing nice, I'm just going to go on a bit of an A-B kick, because there is quite a bit of A-Bs in this section, if I've remembered what all of them are. But I've noticed there is quite a few sort of nice big tall lines where I can do some multi-placing of some ABs. Kind of nice to get that little bit of sparkle, a little bit of extra sparkle in there, which is always fun. Grey Legrand, she says she's hitting pause. She says Rebecca's saying it's hot and it is 22 degrees Celsius. She says she's in North Carolina and today's high is 34 degrees Celsius. Yes, it is sweltering where you are. Our heat is always worse due to the humidity, though it is in some other areas, so it may well be in North Carolina, but we definitely feel the heat at a lower temperature than many other countries, just due to the humidity. It's not a nice heat. I can handle warmer temperatures in Australia than I can in the UK. She said tomorrow is supposed to be 36 degrees. Ooh, she says they haven't had rain in weeks and the grass is brown. She said, so on the flip side, she says she doesn't need to mow. I'd take that. I think I'd let my grass just grow rather than have to mow in heat like that, even if for any reason it did decide to grow. I think for me it'd just be a big fat no. You do your thing, grass. I'm doing my thing and staying out of the heat. It's actually been quite nice here today, and it's supposed to be nice the next couple of days. And when I say nice, like no higher than 22 degrees. I think today was 22, but it wasn't a stifling 22. And I think the next couple of days are supposed to be about 20 degrees, which is ideal. That is, you know, just a bit of sun, but able to get stuff done and not be too hot, which is exactly what I want. I want to have a summer, but I don't want my life to stop because of summer. Mysterious Days also says, she says the new plastic cover paper, she says, was brought out because the cover minders with Diamond Art Club orders often came with magnets not attached to the back. And they seem to get tired of the complaints, she says, so they've just decided to cut out the need for cover minders. It's one of those, you cannot please everyone with what you offer or everything that you have. And yeah, sometimes you just have to take steps to make things the best that you can. So yeah. Hang on, I've just realised that this line of cover paper is slap bang in the middle, which I don't mind it being sort of leaving a little bit to be seen, but I don't like being able to see the full symbol. So let's give ourselves a proper line. Okay, have I got all the L? This is actually one that's a little bit of a tricky symbol to see. It's not hard, but it can hide diamonds. But I think I've got them all. I'm going for a yes. And then what's the other AB? Well, actually, there's a couple of other ABs. So we've got the equal sign, which I'm not seeing, which is the blue. And then we do have a chunk of the red. So let's do some of the red. And then I can move on to my 939. Lady Dax, she says she will tell P Jelly that you used her pen when she gets home. She said as she is doing a voluntary afternoon at a local charity shop today. I love her pen. Her pen actually sits in my drawer for my drafting table. And quite often I will pick that one up. I've actually put putty in it rather than a glue dot. So quite often I will end up picking that one up to put ABs on. Sometimes over a wax pen. Quite often, a lot of the time, it actually depends which one I grab hold of first. But of course that one is quite noticeable, so often that one does get grabbed. And I love using it for that. Right, I had a diamond fall off the pen just as I was putting it down, and it just stopped me putting all the others down in a nice straight line, which is kind of annoying. I tried to knock one off my pen and ended up knocking two off my pen. Right. Sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate now on how many more I can sort of get multi-placed before I have to go to a single placer. Just a couple more when I'm just doing two, and then let's go to single placing. Mysterious Day, she says, you saying that there's highs of 26, she says, has her jealous. She says currently the high for today, she says, is 95 or 35 degrees Celsius. She says the fans are going, and she only has a pair of bike shorts and a tank top. She says she is sweating while sitting. She says the heat isn't breaking for weeks. Yeah. It's been a pretty miserable summer for most, I think, in the fact that it's either been wet, dreary and colder than typical temperatures, or it's been stifling hot, which has made it miserable in a different way. There doesn't seem to be any just sort of straight, nice weather. I guess it's just the phase that we're in, the phase that the world is having, quite obviously. Bring back the spring of 2020, I say, because that was rather nice. Spring of 2020 was a nice one, apart from the rest of the stuff that was going on around the world. But weather-wise, it was a nice one. Right, ABs I think are done. That may change, but for now, I think it's done. So let's move on to 939 and do my big fat amount of dark ones. Mysterious Days also says, she says, brown shoes with navy pants. She says, reminds her of stories her mum told her about her dad. She said her dad was colourblind to a degree, and he'd often come down for work in black pants and a navy blue jacket or some other odd combination that didn't go, and she'd make him change it before he left. At least he had somebody look out for him, I suppose. Look out for any potential mistakes he was making. Jenna, she says, hi Zesties. She says, in reference to the blue-green issue, I love how some topics always come up and remind people of things. It's amazing. That's why I love these Whip and Waffles. She says, blue and green must not be seen, she says, without another colour in between. She says this is what her mother said, and her grandmother always mentioned when they shopped for fabric. She said she also wanted to say that she's loving the waffle. She is working on 2 canvases along with a whip that she wants finished. She says thanks for all that you do. So welcome. I am so glad that the waffle was enjoyed by many, and we have many days of it continuing. That's for sure. Cat Lady, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, we have had 27 degrees for the last 3 days, which is Sunday the 23rd of June up until Tuesday the 25th. She said she has been out and about in it, but not enjoying it. She said they went over to Cumbria today, and it was cooler over there, she says, but it was still 27 degrees when she got back at 7 p.m. She says, we believe we found another property and we'll be putting our heads together tonight. She says, so decisions can be made. And as we know, Cat Lady is currently packing up her life into boxes for a move that is going to happen. That's what I did on Wednesday night. The night that I didn't diamond paint. It was just one of those days. I think I wasn't up for doing any hobby at the time. You know, you just have one of those days. And for some reason, I decided to go on Rightmove. We have no intention of moving. We've looked into it. We have looked into it in the past. But nothing works in the same way that our house does, or will give us the correct amount of space in potentially a different area of our own town, but in a different area where a lot of family and friends live in our town. Which is not a huge town anyway, so travel is not like it's a big deal. But anyway, yeah, we have the odd time where we go looking, and we did go looking at one point, but the prices just go to like more than double what our house would sell for, or is worth, and they just don't quite work the same. Like, they might give us another bedroom, but we wouldn't have like the space for like filming, like even just this room for filming. My little craft room is just ideal, and it wouldn't give us the space needed for the shop either. Like, even if we looked at somewhere that potentially had a garage. I did see somewhere on my browse that was actually 2 semi-detached houses into one. However, they sort of made it into like a couple of apartments. So it had extra kitchens in upstairs, and then the living space was downstairs. That if work was done to it, it would work, in the fact that it also had like an extra part that was connected via the house, that could be purely the shop. It's actually the same size as what the shop is now, which is good because I've completely filled that space since the video showing it to you all. So yeah, like, but it wasn't quite double the price of here, but it was a guide price. It's going on auction. But the amount of work that would need to be done to turn it into a home, because there's like 2 kitchens upstairs, and yeah, it has 2 sets of stairs still. It still has the original 2 sets of stairs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, unless we won the lottery, it wouldn't be something. If we won the lottery, then yes, it would be something that would be ideal to go for and renovate and still live here and then move. But yeah, it's our house actually works so well for us, even if it could do with just 1 extra bedroom. But apart from that, it works so well. And I just ended up losing that whole train. I've probably got my putty a little bit more gammy, should we say? Is that the right word? Yeah, it's not quite as nice as it was because it's done a load of ABs, so it's probably picked up a load of AB sort of coating, which is what can stop the wax working as well. It's not picked up loads, but it has picked up a bit, so we'll see how we go. If I need to change my putty so that I can multi-place this 939, I tell you, I'll do it, because 939 is the 310 in this painting. Liv, she says, hello Zesties and Rebecca. She says she's glad that I had a nice weekend. Thank you, I've had many. She says she had time off work last week. She says, which was so nice. She says she had time to recharge her batteries, which is the only thing I miss about working in sort of the corporate world, is the just taking a week off and completely having it off. Like, well and truly done. Not even thinking or having to deal with anything. She says, keep a check of your mental health, folks, she says, and take that time off that you need before you burn out. So true. I do find actually that, especially because we have sort of peaks and lulls of things that need doing urgently, and even though there's always stuff to do with the business, and a lot more than, you know, people necessarily realise needs to be done when running your own business. And of course having plenty of ideas of things to implement. One benefit I do find with working for myself is that I do find if I have had, you know, quite a busy spurt, that my body will sort of tell me, and you know, when there's nothing urgent on, it'll just sort of basically turn around to me and go, right, okay, yeah, you're not getting anything productive done today. Like, you don't need to, so you're going to rest. It's like it has a mind of its own. Diamond painting with the Edwards. She says, hi Rebecca and Zesty. She says, quilting is addictive. I can see why. She says she's happy that I am loving it. She says she loves the colours of the diamond painting. So that is Artist Room that I did for the waffle. She says pinks and purples are her favourite colours, and they do look so good together in those pastel ones. She says today she was able to knock out a row of her husband's canvas. She said she listened to an audiobook, A Soldier's Truth, which is a book about the path World War II writer Ernie Pyle travelled. She said he's from Dana, Indiana. He lived in the same town that her grandma lives. She says she loves history. She said, and the tears fell a few times listening to his stories. There are some people that are just so good at telling stories, aren't they? You just immerse yourself in it. I love a good book like that. I actually have not a history book as such. It's not a non-fiction history book. I think it's a fiction one, but it is set in the past. And yeah, I've actually got it as a physical book. I picked it up when we were at Centre Parks, but only read one book rather than the two that I picked up. And I'm actually quite excited to read that, probably next time we go away, because I just never think to pick it up when I'm at home. Too busy listening to books and diamond painting at the same time. But yeah, I've managed to listen to quite a few of my audiobooks. getting near the end of my complete reread of or re-listen of 60 odd JD Robb books. I'm getting near the end of that because I've had a few good sessions diamond painting and listening at the same time. Darcy, she says vandals cut a bunch of cables this morning. Why do they not have anything better to do with their lives? Sometimes they just need a slap. They need a mama's sharp tongue is what they need sometimes. She says 3 p.m. she says, and they finally have their internet back. It's just like, what is it that they are achieving? Seriously. Some people that they just need a slap. Jess, she says 26 degrees Celsius is like 79 in Fahrenheit. She says around here, that is the nighttime temperature. I don't think I could handle that as a nighttime temperature. She said high of 93 here today, which is nearly 34 degrees Celsius. She says yesterday she had a big reorganisation in her garage. She says practically gave herself heat stroke, which is not good. She said had to take an hour break, she says, to rehydrate and to stop from passing out. I think you need a bit more of an hour if you've got to the point of nearly passing out. I think that's a sign of you need to stop for the day, if not the week, if it's that kind of heat. She said she got back out there after the break and finished what she started. She said only because, she says, the thought of going out there for another hot day, she says, made her want to cry. She said she just kept thinking, finish fast so you can get back inside. Not surprised. She said it was worth it, she says, because it feels much tidier now. She says, but she did wake up with every part of her body being sore. She says she's out of shape. No, you're just a different shape. You often find when you think you're out of shape from doing something like that, quite often it's because you've used different muscles than you normally use. So you can go to the gym every single day and be a fitness person doing this, that and the other. And then you can go and ride a bike or ride a horse and use completely different muscles to what you used to using and feel the pain afterwards. Or go bowling. That's always one that gets me. Amazing the muscles you use in your legs when you're bowling. Just always gets me. They're obviously just not muscles that I use on a day-to-day basis. Bowling is its own set of muscles, I think. Bazingirl Crafts. Oh, she says day 25 means it is only 6 months until Christmas. She says, wow. She says she's finished up the painting she was working on last night. Yay. She says she hopes that I am staying cool, which I am now. Our weather has settled down greatly, which is good because normally August you would find that it ramps itself up. But yeah, it's actually been, it's been quite rainy in days, but it has in general, when we do get a sunny day, it's more a standard UK summer day, which I'm used to handling. N Couture says, hi Rebecca. She says she's a long time listener, but first time commenting. She says, but she wanted to share her experience. Awesome. She says she's been a quilter for 20 plus years now. She says she decided to take a class for a quilt she really liked, she says, which would have been one of her first quilts. She said she was told it was too hard and she wouldn't be able to do it. That would be like a red rag to a bull for me. She says, so she did it anyway. Love it. Power to you. She says, and she did fine. She says, with the right teacher, she says you can do any quilt that you want. She says she saw the picture that I posted of my quilt, she says, and it looks awesome. She says she loves the colour selection, she says, to give it the 3D effect. She says, keep going. And then she said, before you know it, you will have 5 quilt projects going on just like diamond painting. Yes, it was never my plan, but I do currently have 3. 2 need the backing and actually quilting, the actual quilting part of it. And then I'm doing the one for my daughter, which I was planning on finishing the 2 before I did the one for my daughter, but she gave me a time, not a time constraint, because she can't tell me what to do, but no, she did put in a request, so I am trying to meet that request, because the only main reason of getting the others quilted first was for my organisation head, not because they have their own deadlines or anything like that. Like, we've not hit winter yet, and I'm quite warm-blooded anyway, so you will catch hubby putting the heating on before I do, and you will catch hubby putting jumpers and stuff on before I do. So I am definitely a way off needing a quilt, so I have put that on pause to do hers. And to be fair, I really enjoy the piecing side of things. I think it's like my favourite part of things. I'd love to be able to piece it all together and then just go poof, it's done. But having said that, I've not actually quilted one yet, so it may be that I end up going to do it and realise actually I love the quilting just as much. We shall see. We shall see. Sherry says, hello Rebecca and Zesties. She says she went down a rabbit hole on Google looking up the verse for blue and green should never be seen. She said so many versions. She says beauty queen, Irish queen, fairy queen, Colleen. She says the variations, she says, are fabulous. She says yellow is a mellow fellow, and lots of other bits. She said she had to finally just let it go, she says, but it was fun. Rabbit holes can be fun, that's for sure. Yeah. What was it? I saw something on one of the social media sites at some point. I think it was a reel. And somebody just turned around and said, oh, my friend told me that she thinks I might have ADHD. And yeah, I found out that like llamas like this or penguins do this. And that was it. Like, absolutely nothing to do with the fact of what she went looking for. But obviously, she went down a rabbit hole. But yeah, love it. Madison, she says, hello Rebecca. She says she's found a new hobby. She says it's crochet. She said she ordered a beginner's kit and she's excited for it to arrive. She said she hopes the Zesties and me, she says, have a wonderful day. Well, I hope you do too. There is something fun about a new hobby. Fun and exciting and just something different. I did have crochet sort of on my list for a little bit. But I think when I thought about it a bit more, it was like, actually, it's a quilt that I want to make rather than a crocheted blanket. More of a blanket, isn't it, than a quilt? Yeah, which then took me down the quilting rabbit hole, which of course we now all know has well and truly been sunk into. And I am well on the way to having a fabric stash. Yvette, she says, hi Rebecca and everyone. She says, sorry it has been a while since she's posted. She says, but they are still watching every video. You have been quiet, Yvette, as long as you're all doing good. We all have times when we don't necessarily want to talk. She says April and May are always a rough time for them there. She said, as it is the anniversary of their firstborn's birthday in April. Oh, and her passing in May, she says, which was 17 years this year. And I can imagine, well, they don't get any easier. She says, oh, on top of this, she says she ended up poorly back in April with the bad cough, she says, which is believed to be whooping cough. Oh, she says, and it's still going on. She says, ironically, that was the cause of their firstborn's passing. Oh, not the best time. Well, no time's a good time, is it? To be fair, but doesn't make things any better. She said, so it really hit hard with timing. I am not surprised. Well, you take care of yourself, Yvette, even more so than we'd normally say. She says, on the other hand, she says the painting is looking fab and loving the waffles. She says, keep up the good work. Love from me and Jay. Well, take care of yourself. I know it has been a tough few months for you. I hope things are evening out a little bit. Things are never going to be perfect, but I hope things are getting better. That's for sure. I seem to be going with my colours from this side. I think it's because of this dark section giving me this corner. I feel like I need to get this corner finished up before I go on to the light and bright colours. So yeah, I keep doing all the dark bits. Matthews Callens says, hey Rebecca, today they finally watched a video of me, said it gets better and better. They are working on the last part of their hedgehog. Said only one more colour to go, and they think that everyone is convinced, sorry I'm trying to find my other colour, that 310 is one of the most common numbers you can come across. She says, love your videos and keep up the good work. Love from Belgium. Yes, 310 is extremely popular. It is in a lot of paintings, not all. So like this one has 939 sort of instead. It still has the look of black, just a little edge softer. But yeah, 310 definitely has its place in this world. It's a little bit out in full force. Right, I've got a couple of colours now that I've got little ones of, but they do appear somewhere else. So I'm just trying to see which ones I can sort of get that don't appear everywhere else too much. so I don't end up doing too big a section somewhere else, and I'm just trying to clean up a bit of this section, and then I'll move on to those colours, because of course they all need doing in the end. So this one does end up over here. In fact, the section I did on this last night, there was loads of this. Loads of this symbol, but not as much on this one. Monique, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, it's sad to see the end of the June waffle. She says she'll miss my giggles. Love it. I'm still here. Maybe not daily, but I'm still here. There we go. I knew I'd seen one over here somewhere. Right, I think that's it for that one. Let's try this letter V. Have I got more than these two? So I have left these ones down here because I know there's more of them. Have we got any more letter V? No. And these two are also scattered over here as well. So let's go down and let's fill in this and work our way up. Cross stitch and tat, she says, little bit confusing at the start, she says, but with the heat she understands. She says yesterday was 107 degrees Fahrenheit, 41.7 degrees Celsius, she says, with 36% humidity. She says, not a dry heat as usual. She said she didn't want to leave the house. I don't blame you. High humidity, pretty sure it's high humidity, is what we often, is it humidity that we often end up with? I don't know. It's not a nice heat. Definitely not a nice heat. So yeah, think of your nasty heat, and that's what we get. We get the nasty, nasty heat whenever we get any heat. That's why us Brits moan so much about it. Plus, we're good about moaning about the weather. Okay. That one did not want to go down. And it didn't want to let me let go of my glue dot off the end of it. And I ended up flinging it over my canvas. Cat Lady, she says, as she commented on Facebook, she says, wow, the quilt pattern looks complex. It looked more complex than it was. It was actually just more time consuming due to the size of the triangles and the sort of the amount that had to be done. But I actually really enjoyed that fact because it gave me lots of practice on doing them, which I think has helped in the long run, which is always good. Elizabeth, she says, hey, she says she just wanted to say thank you for an amazing June waffle. She says, for everything you do for everything you and yours do for the diamond painting community. She says, best wishes from Norway. Thank you. I'm so glad that everybody has enjoyed it. We do still have quite a few days worth of comments. There are a few coming in sort of close to the end of June waffle, but not quite there yet. But yeah, I loved it. Nana, she says, hello Rebecca. She says, hope all is well with you and the family, which it is. Thank you. I'm just having a scan before I finish up this one. She says, and Luna, of course. She says, she must say this video was a tiny bit interesting. She says, last part first, first part last. She says she guesses that's how we keep them on their toes. Oh, okay. So this is the day when I managed to import my sections of video, because of course it saves itself every now and then. Which is when it normally cuts me off. I managed to upload them back to front. So it started mid-June waffle and then ended, and then then it ended and I said bye, and then the beginning was on the end. You know, just keeping people on their toes, as they say. I did still have all the footage, so I did re-upload it in the correct format. But then I hid the incorrect format off YouTube so that it wouldn't get watched by anybody that hadn't watched it. But with it being hidden, anybody that was in the middle of it could of course continue to watch it, and I would still have comments from it, which is what I'm getting to now. See, I even forget all the sort of glitches that happened because it's been a while since the glitch happened, and we always try and forget glitches, or at least I do. Nova Scotian Hidecar says it's going to be a beautiful quilt. Thank you. I think I did show the quilt at the end of this video, or in the middle, depending on which one you watched. Mrs. BGG, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, thank you for the June waffle. She says she has loved it. She says, I'm watching the videos every day. She says she has had health problems at the end of May going into June. As she has type 2 diabetes, which she's been put on insulin. She says, and on the 26th of June, they are putting her on another insulin, she said, which upset her a lot. She says, so having June waffle, she says, and your videos to help her get through the day while trying to accept it that she has diabetes and is on insulin. She says, so they've helped. Well, I hope things have got better for you. And, you know, many people say it's a learning curve, isn't it? And once you've got, you know, past that learning curve in relation to, you know, what foods affect you, when you need insulin, getting in the routine of actually checking and taking it and all the rest of that, I'm sure things will be so much better for you. So I'm hoping this last month has seen things improve, that's for sure. User PJ3 and lots of other letters says they are so sad it's coming to the end. They said they will miss me every day and thanks for everything. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm still here often, just not every day, and I know it's not quite the same when you get in a little routine every day and when you go on YouTube and there's not one for you to watch. If you've got a bit behind and therefore you can continue to watch one each day, it's not as bad, but yeah, if you've been all caught up, it can be a bit of a blow. And I'd love to be able to keep and just have a whip and waffle every single day on whatever painting I was doing. Just become a whip and waffle channel maybe. But just every day is just, it's just not as practical. And there's often other things to show you guys to do. Different things. Which get varied sometimes, depending on how much time that I have. Okay, I've got one more over here that's sort of loitering in this block of colour before we start hitting red and stuff. So let's get that one. Dime Painting with the Edward says the quilt looks fabulous. She says that I'm doing a good job. She says she can't wait to see it done. Well, who would think? We're still waiting for it to actually be quilted. Though it is, the top is finished. So it's a lot further on than I think it was on that video. Carol Roy says thank you for the video. Thank you. Lady Dex, she says, well, it had to happen. She said, apart from the upside down video, she says we missed out on our June waffle, Rebecca's bloopers. She says bye bye and hello again. She said, she says she loves it. She says it's this hot weather. She says we are just not used to it in the UK, which is so true. We are, yeah, we're not used to it at all. You know, there may be Brits that go to hot countries for holidays to make sure they can get some of the weather, but I say, because it is a different type of weather and there's no things that we have to do like work or housework, yeah, it's completely different for us. A different type of weather, and we can relax with it. She says it fries our brains, the weather. Yes, it does. Susan, she says, another fantastic video. She says the quilt looks amazing. Thank you. She says, when you mentioned random number generator, she said it reminded her of another tip and trick she says that she started using recently. She says instead of having a whole different bunch of wheels in her Tiny Decision app and then continually updating them as she's added to her stash, she says she's decided to just use a random number generator. She says, so now if she wants to do a square diamond or a round or a small painting, whichever category, she uses a random number generator. So once she's decided which category, she counts how many of them that she has, and then she goes back to her logbook and counts them and uses that number in the selection criteria. So she says it selects a number in the range and then she goes back to find out which painting won. So it's like just turning over 5 pages in your logbook if it's pick number 5. She says it saves her from continually having to update the decision wheel, and it gives her an extra step of intrigue. I like that part. She says an excitement while she counts through her logbook to find the winner. She says she's also enjoying the waffle. She says thank you for the giveaway opportunity. So welcome. I do like that idea because it would save having to put a name in the generator each time and remembering, you know, sort of where you're up to potentially and having to update it along with the logbook. And then you could just turn the pages and count and go, oh, it's not that one. Oh, it's that one. Yeah, I do like that idea. Right, I think I've got all of them. So there are a couple now that are sort of jumping out at me. This blue one is, because it's the only blue one I've got. So that one is jumping out to me as it needs doing. And then also some of these little ones here that are a bit lost. More so this one because there's only 2 of them. One there and one there. And then I guess we'll do some of this one, which there is a few more. It's actually not too bad. I think I did most of them in my last section. Paula, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, and everyone. She said, hope all's well. She says, no heat wave over here in Northern Ireland. She says today, the 26th, they've had rain and have been very overcast all day, she says, with a high of 16. She says more rain forecast for tomorrow as well. She says, though, she says with her hot flushes or tropical moments, I like that, tropical moments, she says she's actually glad that it's not that hot. excuse me. She says she's finished the painting that she's been working on, which was the Wolverine from Diamond Art Club. She's also been participating in a 30 Things in 30 Days event this month. She says so she's been getting smaller off the canvas items completed. She's always nice, especially if you're doing some of them for the likes of Christmas and things. It's always nice to get a good start on those. I've just spotted a letter H that I've missed because it's in those darks and I didn't look over there. Anyway, okay, have I got all of those? I've actually just had to look at the symbol again because my brain went, what symbol am I looking for? Which one do I need? It is a benefit to these pots when you pull one off. Right, let me get that letter H because I definitely have visions of not even remembering that that's there. Okay. I was going to do the number 7, but I'm not. I'm going to do this wave, which is actually a grey, because I want to get that one before it gets forgotten. A crafty Erin, she says, don't you love technology? She says, thanks for the mix-up and the variety for today's video. Love it. She says, it keeps us on our toes, she says, and adds a new spice to life. That is definitely one way of putting it. She says, thanks for another great whip and waffle, and she'll see me tomorrow. Ivy, she said, hi Rebecca. She says, where do you get those larger clips? She says she's had a look on my website but didn't see them. Yeah, we don't actually hold these on our website, primarily at the moment because actually shipping for them, it hits it into what's called a parcel postal bracket, which just makes shipping not as cost effective. Like if you were ordering lots of things, then yeah, it would be cost effective. But when you're ordering smaller bits, we try to keep postage as cheap as we can. And they're quite common to be able to find. So a few people have replied to this lady, which I thank you greatly for, because she's probably thought I'm ignoring her. It's been that long. But if you want clips like these that I use to hold my painting to my canvas, just have a search. Amazon or even some shops may still have them, but beach towel clips is what you're after. That's basically what they are. You can get some rather funky ones, but yeah, they work really well. Just to keep the canvas in place, stop it sliding about while you're working on it. So yeah, just search for beach towel clips and you should be able to find some fun ones. We did actually put them in last year's advent calendar because that is a bigger box anyway, so it was a bigger item. And yeah, they went down really well because sometimes it's something that you don't quite realise you need until you have it, and then you use it every single time and you're like, okay, it's something I was able to manage without, but life's so much better now I have it. It's like many things in life, isn't it? We can all survive without them, but it's nice to have them. Washing machine springs to mind. Margaret says she loves this video. Thank you, Margaret. Lady Dax, she says, hey, she says she just watched the back to front version of this. She said, did you reload it, Rebecca? Yes, I did reload the back to front version. Mainly not because, you know, the one that was upside down, it's like, you know, no big drama. The main reason I re-uploaded the back to front version is the fact that I said bye partway through. A lot of people thought that was it, and I wouldn't want them to think that their question that they asked had never been answered, when in fact it had. It was just on the second half of that video, which is why I did re-upload it. She said, that's a shame, she says, because it made her laugh. I am more than happy to keep mistakes up there for all to see. I don't edit stuff out where I make a boo-boo, for that very reason. Because we all make mistakes, so, you know, let's have a laugh at my drama, and then maybe if you have the same drama, you can have a laugh at yourself at a later date. And it can make it less stressful. But it was the confusion for that one that I didn't. She says, we've not had a Rebecca blooper this waffle. You had the upside down one on the 18th. She also says she agrees that this heat is not best for us in the UK. She said it fries our brains. It does. We don't cope well. Gray Legrand, she says your quilt blocks are looking fabulous. She said she really likes the fabrics and the palette. Thank you. Not bad for just the fabrics I could pick up from Hobbycraft. Oh, it's actually this week, or coming up this week, that my purchases from Festival of Quilts goes up. It will be sort of the 5th video, because at the minute I'm sort of doing 4 videos due to it being crazy Advent season. But yeah, I'm rather excited to see what you guys think to some of the fabrics that I've got. I actually watched a couple of videos last night. I like to watch just a few short YouTube videos when I'm having a bath. And I put on a couple of videos of people showing what they got at Festival of Quilts. And while there was some gorgeous fabrics that I saw people get, or little kit bits that they got, they both had quite different taste to me. And I can appreciate the beauty in it, even though I wouldn't want it for myself. So yeah, but it was nice to watch and see what other people end up liking. Now sometimes they could end up doing a quilt in that, and I'd then look at it and go, actually, now I want it. That could happen quite easily with me. But yeah, there was nothing that made me think, oh, I should have got that while I was there. Or I missed out on this, or I missed out on that. But there was some stalls that somebody showed that they went, I'm like, I don't remember seeing that one. I don't remember seeing that one. So I think I was actually telling Hobby about it last night. He was saying he really enjoyed the day. And I'm like, we might need to get a hotel room and stay over next time. Maybe get a couple of days in there, because I feel like there was loads more going on that I just completely missed. But yeah, just missed. Talking of missing, there's a symbol. What am I on? The plus. This is the only thing with a confetti painting, is you do end up missing, especially when they're surrounded by different colours. They have a little bit of a different look. They are still, of course, the same colour and the same symbol, but they do have a different look. Yeah, and I just managed to miss that one because it was slap bang in the middle of yellows. So let me get that one before I move on. There we go. Right, changed the battery and decided to grab a brew while I was at it. So yeah, let's continue going across. I was like, do I continue across here or do I do my red? No, I've zoomed in a little bit more now that this other side is all done. I've got an odd stray blue one in here. So Carrie, she says she's watching this waffle with their little air conditioner running for a bit. She said it's only 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees C today. She says, but the house is still too warm from yesterday, where it reached 89 degrees Fahrenheit or 31 degrees Celsius. She says the dogs are panting too heavy. She says so she had to give in and turn it on for a bit. She says she's trying to get 3 sections done on the gift for her sister today. Gift for her sister today, because she's hoping for at least one more finish for June, considering she couldn't finish her Diamond Art Club painting due to missing drills. She says, but she does have to take a break in the middle to go to a meeting about the city replacing... Sorry, I'm not doing very well, but that section was getting extremely crooked and I felt like I needed to fix it before I could move on. About the city replacing their pipe due to them being lead pipes, so that they have to filter their water to use it to drink or cook with. She says this weekend they're going out of town to visit their in-laws, or her in-laws, to visit the in-laws, and they're going to bring their sister-in-law and mother-in-law's birthday presents, because they won't be back until the end of August at the earliest, because of her foot surgery on July the 16th. She said she won't be able to drive 1.5 hours either way until she's done healing. She says she is excited to give her sister-in-law her painting that she's made for her. She says she hasn't posted it anywhere or put a video of it on TikTok because she doesn't want her to see it by accident. Sounds definitely the safest way to do things when it's a gift, that's for sure. It's amazing what family sees when you don't want them to, if it's something like that, a gift. It'll just be that one random day that she just decides to go and watch your TikTok or something like that. She says she's hoping everybody's having a good week, and she says thank you for a wonderful June waffle. Well, thank you for being here. I hope you're well. I know we've had updates on our Thursday's waffle on your surgery, so I hope everything is still going well and that you are now able to drive, which means woohoo, freedom, movement, and all the rest of it, and that things are on the up, because up is always, or pretty much always, the best way to go. Best way to go is up. Monique, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she might learn a new craft. She says quilting. She says, but her problem is she cannot sew a button. She says your quilt looks so good. Oh, thank you. Give it a go. You never know. It might be that buttons are not your forte, but actually the rest is amazing. Or it may be that you just haven't learned to sew a button in the way that suits you. And that's the only reason you can't sew a button. Busy Lizzie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, when you said it didn't tickle my pickle, she said she had to re-listen to hear exactly what it was that I said. She said that saying means something, she says, completely different in her dirty mind. Completely different and dirty, she says, in her mind. I can imagine some things have been changed, that's for sure. She says, thank goodness the water situation has been fixed. She says, hopefully they will get charged the max. She says, because they shouldn't have done it. She says, and they had no right to turn off everybody's water, which is so true. I also just kind of feel sorry for next door as well, because it's right outside her driveway, which stops her being able to use her driveway, which I know would infuriate me. We're just lucky we don't have any sort of water access points or manholes or anything like that on our property. They seem to be either side of us. Okay, oh no, spotted. Oh, just spotted another one I've missed though, of a different one. Oh well, it's the way the cookie crumbles. She says she understands that they were trying to fix their own. She says, but they shouldn't have went to the streets, and they should have called the water company to check it instead. I agree. Or called a plumber to replace their stop tap. Like, who says they're not going to need it in the future? She says, hopefully they will learn. She says, if not, she says, message me your address. She says she will get a train down and have a little chat with them for me. Bless you. No, everything seems to have been good. I don't think they've moved in yet. It still looks like they're having work done on the house. I don't know what they're doing. But it's one of those, isn't it? If you don't have to move in straight away, then it's always good to get all messy sort of jobs and all things that you want to get done before you move in. Whoever it was needs to have left our water alone. Michelle, she says, thanks for the June waffle video. She says it has been great following along. She says she had to catch up here and there. She says due to travelling and work, but she's all caught up for now. Sometimes, do you know what? Sometimes if you have a really, really busy day or a busy couple of weeks, and then you do find that you go into play catch up on videos, that can be as much fun in itself. Just that chance of being able to have like a full-on session. It's like you're catching up with your own chill time, your own downtime, and it's like, okay, I might have been busy, but I've got my time back. And you get to enjoy it. Jess says the quilt's looking amazing. She says, well done, thank you. Julie Thomas, she says she's testing as she doesn't know her YouTube name. She says your nails are beautiful. She says, is that a gel coat? She said it's so smooth and not shiny. She says just what she likes. Yes, I do have gel nails on, and it would have been gel at that time as well. I get the Builder's gel, which is a bit thicker, so it doesn't chip anywhere near as easy. The first time I had it done with my new nail tech, she put like what's called the really light Builder's gel. Oh, they look shocking within about a week. But now she's gone up to sort of the next strength of Builder's gel, and it's loads better. It's like she's as she said, she's sort of learning our nails and what they like. But she does have an even more extreme one. If I find, I don't know, I go on a decorating splurge or something and things get even worse or more damaged, then she can look into putting it on even tougher as well. KS says, thank you for all that you do. Well, thank you for being here. Oh, she also says she loves the quilt. Thank you. Marsha says it finished early. She says it turned out so cute. She says, she finished early, sorry. She said her nieces will love it. She says now, she wants to get the one that I'm working on, which was Artist Room from Diamond Art Club. She says because of her pink hair. She says her daughter has pink hair, and the picture reminds my grandson of her. She says she's 2, has signed up to be notified when it is back in stock. She also says she loves the quilt and it's looking beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, it is a lovely one. Megan's actually got her hair pink at the moment because it's summer holidays, so she can get away with it when it's summer holidays. She's just got sort of a toner in. Jeanette, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she hopes all is well. She says the quilt pattern's gorgeous. She says it reminds her of pyramids. And regarding the giveaway, she says she admits, she says that it is very generous. She says to open it up to all. She says herself as a Canadian, she says she appreciates it more than I know. She says, oh, she says this is a long one, sorry. Your comment's not that long once it's read out. But yeah, when I do giveaways, I always think, well, you know, there are enough giveaways that are limited to certain countries. And I guess things sometimes may have to be, just because it is easier to post something in your own country. But at the end of the day, that it's not just the UK that watches YouTube. So, yeah, I think therefore it should be open to everybody that watches my channel. So I may send things by slower post when I'm sending them abroad, just so that it costs me less. But yeah, I always do my best to make sure, and in fact most, if not all of my giveaways have always been open anywhere in the world. But yeah, it's always my aim, unless it is just due to physically not being able to. So, i.e. if I was ever to do a giveaway for something that would have to go by boat if it was going abroad, I'm not quite set up for that sort of shipment. Or if it costs more than the item itself to ship. But other than that, you know, there's never anything that's sort of that big or that bulky or doesn't cost that much that it's not worth sending it abroad. And if I ended up with something that big and bulky, it would probably be something that I would just gift to somebody I knew, rather than putting it in the giveaway in the first place. Barbara, she says she's a quilter. She says, and now she says, so are you. She says it looks great. Thank you. Good to hear from other quilters out there as well. Nora, she says, great video. She says she is looking forward to the Advent. Yes, I'm looking forward to the December Whip and Waffle as well. I'm going to be packing some more Advent calendars next week. And hopefully we might get some updates on the painting for September soon. Find out sort of where that is up to. It's all been ordered and everything else, but it is on slow mail, very, very slow mail over to us. So it's just waiting for it to arrive, and then I can confirm if it is September launch or if I have to push it back a little bit. But yeah, we shall see. Have I got all of them? I think I have. I'm getting there. Liz says the quilt's looking fantastic. Thank you. And Gadget Girl loves the canvas. And then Cross Stitch and Tat says only a few days left on the 27th, which it was. Only a few. Cat Lady, she says things have been cooler outside today as they had the wind get stronger throughout the day. She said it is currently 24 degrees with 30-mile-per-hour winds. She says it's been very unpleasant, she says, inside though. Tomorrow, she says it's supposed to drop to 22 degrees, but still windy. 22 and windy, love it. That's a washing kind of day. Cat Lady also says, she seems to have puffed up her fingers and feet as a result of the heat as well. So she's not enjoying it. Yes, I can imagine. Oh, nearly. Yeah, I can imagine that just makes things feel even worse when you feel rotten. Oh, see, you'd have had another blooper then if I'd have actually been in shot for my tray. I just managed to move my tray as I was tipping them into my pot like a fool and managed to spill some on my desk. Luckily, not too many, and luckily they didn't go everywhere all over the floor. But I definitely dropped some. Monique says, hi Rebecca. She says, thank you for another day of joy. You're so welcome. And Liz, she says, thanks Rebecca. She said she got Witch's Flower Shop completed and she's debited it. She says she's now in the process of dekitting. I think it's autocorrect from dekitting. So she's dekitted it. That makes more sense. She says she's in the process of dekitting some Paint Gem minis alongside her June waffle picture. She says next stop is to kit up her next picture that she'll be working on in July. I think many of us had a very, very productive June. I think it's maybe July that's not quite been as productive. Well, it's not for me diamond painting wise anyway. Been productive in other ways. So I always tell myself, I've been productive in other ways. But yeah, as always, every time I finish sort of a waffle event, I feel like the painting I kit up just before an event always seems to feel as though I've had it on the go for quite a while afterwards. Primarily because I kit it up before the event, so I've got something to do, and then don't always get a lot done, which then means it feels like it drags on even longer because I've started earlier with just a little bit of it. But it's all good. I'm getting some more done now, getting my Friday evenings done while chatting to you lot, even though you won't see it until Sunday. I'm getting another section done, and then we'll see what I can get done next week, because I do now split. Diamond painting is a weekday thing and quilting is a weekend thing, though I can fluctuate between the two. I do sometimes still do a bit of diamond painting at the weekend, and I did do just a little bit of quilting the other night after diamond painting. So Joy, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, while still diamond painting on minis, she says she has been cross stitching. She says your quilt's looking good. She says piecing and quilting by hand, she said, is very relaxing. That's one thing I've not done yet. I do use my machine for it all so far. I think a lot of it is I like the very exact stitches, same sort of lengths and stuff. And I know I can get it with hand quilting, but I know that will take practice. And I'm not quite ready to have the muck-up parts while practicing. Ah well. Ah well. Lee says here in the southern states, she says the temperature is in the 90s and low 100s. She prefers to stay inside and do her diamond painting. I'm with you on that one, whatever the weather. She says when you go outside, she says it feels like you can't breathe. She says because of humidity. She says she loves the videos. And Marsha agrees. It's been miserable, she says. Oh. Grey Legrand, she says, thank you for today's whip and waffle. She says, by the time this comment is read, she says, we'll be well into July. And the rest, Grey Legrand, and the rest. We're in August. That many comments have been left, which I appreciate, don't get me wrong. I really do appreciate it. And sometimes I need to ramble on less about other stuff.
2 diamonds left and my battery went. And I've just noticed when I've gone to change it that I put the wrong battery in. I have a couple of batteries that last longer than others. And of course I put the wrong one in. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, Creator Grant saying it'll be well into July. Oh, the dreams. It's all good though. She says, and she said she would have finished 8 canvases in June. Wowzers, that is a feat. She says 1 for the June event, she says in combination with diamond painting for pets, and 7 budget whips. She says depending on how much she gets done tonight, she says she might have a go at 1 more budget whip. She does say the 30th is a Sunday, so she does have the weekend as well. She says she's going for it. I don't blame you. I guess we will find out in a future video if she managed to hit 9 completed. I'm just running my hand over this section as I finished because I knew I could feel one. Quite often I do find the odd times when I multi-place, when I'm sort of trying to squeeze some in gaps, I can end up, especially with the darker colours, I can end up with some of them not quite having clicked into place and I've not noticed. So I do like to run my hand over and it tells me if any are sort of popping up, though sometimes the AB coating feels like a diamond popping up and it's actually not. So that's why I'm going over this section a few times just to check whether it is a diamond or not. And yeah, another section is done. We are getting up to a lot of ABs soon, I think. Let me just put my diamonds down. Can we see that? How beautiful is that? I mean, there was a load of ABs there. That is gonna shine beautifully. So yeah, have a couple more sections over here and then I'll be on the next row. So we'll see where I am up to by the time we meet up next Sunday, but I'm getting there. I'm trying to work out if I'm about to hit halfway, possibly a bit less than halfway, because I think I do have a thin strip at the top. But I did this week sit my whole easel on my drafting table, and it's pretty good for being able to reach further down. So it does make me regret a little bit putting cover paper on it all, but I do tend to fold it. My easel, oh no, it is pretty much at the top. I do tend to try and make sure that I clip it where I can just let that pop up just a little bit. Because I'm doing it every evening, I tend to sort of get that section done and then I'm moving it again anyway. But yeah, it's coming together nicely. Thank you all so much for your comments, and we will continue with more for a long whip and waffle next week. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.